Legacy of Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is one of the most talked about figures in the Bible, but also one of the most misunderstood. For centuries, people have argued about who she really was. Was she a devoted disciple, a sinner seeking redemption, or something much more? To truly understand her, we need to dive into the historical context of her life. Once in century Palestine, a time and place filled with political tension, strict religious laws, and gender inequality. At that time, women's roles were highly restricted. They were often seen as second-class citizens, their voices and actions overshadowed by men. Yet Mary Magdalene's name is mentioned more than many of Jesus' male disciples in the New Testament. This alone makes her stand out. But here's the thing. Over the centuries, Mary Magdalene's image has been altered, often misrepresented in ways that fit cultural or theological agendas. One of the biggest misconceptions is that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. This idea didn't actually come from the Bible. It originated in the year 591, when Pope Gregory Benoit gave a sermon that conflated Mary Magdalene with another woman mentioned in the Gospels, a sinner who anoints Jesus' feet. The Bible never directly says Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, but this label stuck for centuries. It's only in recent decades that scholars and religious leaders have started to correct this misinterpretation. Another factor is mistranslations. The Gospels were originally written in Greek, and as they were translated into Latin, English, and other languages, subtle nuances were lost or changed. For instance, the Greek term Magdalene likely refers to Mary's hometown, Magdala, not her social or moral status. But these small errors piled up over time, creating a distorted view of who she was. When we look at the actual biblical texts, a very different picture of Mary Magdalene emerges. She's introduced as one of the women who followed Jesus and supported his ministry financially. Far from being a fallen woman, Mary Magdalene appears as someone whose life was transformed by Jesus. Mary is also one of the few people who stayed with Jesus during his crucifixion. While many of his male disciples fled in fear, Mary Magdalene stood by him, showing incredible courage and loyalty. She was also the first person to witness the resurrection of Jesus and was tasked with bringing this news to the other disciples. This has earned her the title Apostle to the Apostles in some Christian traditions. Think about that for a moment. The most important event in Christianity, the resurrection, was first revealed to Mary Magdalene, not Peter, not John, but Mary. This role challenges the traditional view of her as merely a penitent sinner. Instead, she's portrayed as a key figure in Jesus' ministry, someone who was deeply trusted by him. Scholars have pointed out that this emphasis on her importance may have been downplayed over time as the early church became more male-dominated. Some Gnostic texts, like the Gospel of Mary, even suggest that Mary Magdalene had a closer relationship with Jesus than the other disciples, which sparked jealousy and tension among them. Mary Magdalene's unwavering devotion to Jesus didn't end with his death. After the resurrection, she played a crucial role in spreading his message. Her testimony would have been vital in shaping the early church's understanding of Jesus and his teachings. Some scholars argue that Mary Magdalene was a leader in the early Christian movement. The Gospel of Mary, a text not included in the Bible, but discovered in the 19th century, depicts her as a spiritual guide and teacher. In it, she shares insights about Jesus' teachings that others struggle to understand. Unfortunately, as Christianity became more institutionalized, the contributions of women like Mary Magdalene were often overlooked or minimized. Some historians believe this was a deliberate effort to establish male authority within the church. But despite these setbacks, Mary Magdalene's story has endured, inspiring countless people throughout history. Her influence on Christian theology is subtle but significant. For instance, her role as the first witness to the resurrection underscores the idea that faith isn't limited by gender, status, or past mistakes. It's about courage, devotion, and the willingness to embrace a transformative relationship with God. Over the centuries, Mary Magdalene's image has evolved. In medieval art and literature, she was often depicted as a penitent sinner, weeping at the feet of Jesus. This portrayal reflects the cultural norms of the time, which emphasized repentance and humility. However, more recent interpretations have shifted toward viewing her as a symbol of empowerment and resilience. Feminist theologians have been particularly drawn to Mary Magdalene's story. They see her as a figure who challenges patriarchal structures within the church and society. Her close relationship with Jesus, her leadership among the disciples, and her role in the resurrection narrative all suggest that women have always been integral to the Christian faith, even if their contributions haven't always been acknowledged. In popular culture, Mary Magdalene has become a symbol of redemption and spiritual transformation. From books like The Da Vinci Code to movies and documentaries, her story continues to capture the imagination of people around the world. While some of these portrayals take creative liberties, they highlight the enduring fascination with her character and the questions she raises about faith, gender, and power. But Mary Magdalene's legacy isn't just about the past. It's also deeply relevant to contemporary audiences. Her courage to stand by Jesus during his darkest moments, her determination to share the good news of his resurrection, and her unwavering faith all serve as examples of how ordinary people can make an extraordinary impact. In a world that often feels divided and uncertain, her story reminds us of the power of love, loyalty, and resilience. So, what can we learn from Mary Magdalene today? First, we can challenge our assumptions. History is full of stories that have been distorted or oversimplified, and Mary Magdalene's is a prime example. By digging deeper and seeking out alternative perspectives, we can uncover a richer, more nuanced understanding of her life and legacy. Second, we can embrace critical thinking. It's easy to accept traditional narratives without questioning them, but Mary Magdalene's story shows us the importance of asking questions and exploring different interpretations. Whether it's studying ancient texts, analyzing historical context, or engaging in thoughtful discussions, we have the tools to uncover the truth. Finally, we can find inspiration in her example. Mary Magdalene wasn't perfect. She was human just like us, but her faith, courage, and determination made her a central figure in one of the most transformative movements in history. Her story challenges us to step out of our comfort zones, stand up for what we believe in, and make a difference in the world around us. Mary Magdalene's story is far from untold, but it is often misunderstood. By taking the time to explore who she really was, we can honor her legacy and find new meaning in her life. So let's keep asking questions, challenging assumptions, and uncovering the truth. After all, Mary Magdalene's story isn't just about her. It's about all of us and the ways we choose to live out our faith and values every day.